Hollywood back on my feet someday.
Don't care if you do, cause it's understood. You ain't got no money, you just ain't no good.
Well, I guess if you say so, I'll have to pack my things and go.
That's right, hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
What you say?
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
To rescue me. One second I'm thinking I must be lost, and he keeps on finding me. Through the fan, it's like a pain. Through the fan, plays me like a game. The only sin is I can't win. Ooh, I wanna love that man. Through the fan, it's on my list. And through the fan, I wanna kiss. The only sin is I can't win. Ooh, I wanna love that man.
Громко. Так. Shut up. Ага. Night City Wire. Ну давай. Ну давай. Бля, рэпчина, серьезно? Да. О, симпатяга. Салют. Его за красиво. Вот, и так заебись. English. Давай порту Rush Pad.
To bringing the band Samurai to life. And then we're showing you another new gameplay video and having a chat to Pavel, our senior gameplay designer, about just some of the tools of destruction that will be at your disposal in Night City. So let's get started.
давай.
Street Kid, Nomad, or Corpo? Which will you pick first?
А давай. Жизненные пути.
Well,
Street
who
Kid.
do we have here? Grew up in Haywood. The whole street was my family. Neighbors helped each other out. Thought nothing of it.
I'm pleased to see you have not forgotten your roots.
Born here, live here, die here.
Childhood memories. Hopping buildings, running away from badges. Iron tasted blood from a split lip.
Motherfucker!
Got everybody fighting for a slice of the street.
Get the fuck out of Vista!
They keep getting jumped. You find some stronger choosers.
Do you want to spend the rest of your days blasting scabs? Or become a legend overnight?
We have arrived. The mission.
4К.
Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on!
My childhood? Let's see. Racing my bobber for the first time through the hills. Oh, and first kiss in the middle of a synth cornfield.
We nomads choose who to make our family. By choice forges strong bonds and a higher duty that stands solid as an old oak.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Makes you an outcast among outcasts.
Miss this, you know? Camaraderie.
I know. I saw it in your heart the first time we met. You know what I always liked about nomads? Your taste, no, hunger for freedom. Not easy to come by in Night City. Corp's got their grubby claws and everything.
I have those reports you asked for.
Я буду, наверное, за
Supposed
Street
to be
Kid
ready
играть.
yesterday.
The world's going to tear us apart when the word gets around.
The world's never going to find out.
If I go down, you're going down with me. No, I'm not fucking joking.
This isn't a request, V. But no way you're fucked, right? You're the one who fixes other people's shit.
If you're working our south of counter intel, you're always fucked.
Today, they got you to zero somebody. Tomorrow, they'll get somebody else to zero you.
What's the rules, Jack? You want to be top? Gotta have some skin in the game.
Yeah, but you're not on top. Bro, Arasaka is. And you're the pendejo who keeps him there. Work for yourself, live for yourself. That's the only way.
Philip, it is so good to see you. It's actually been a while since I've had a chance to interview you about Cyberpunk. So I think for today, we'll start with a
Okay.
question that everybody wants to know. How does the path you pick affect your time in Night City?
It actually affects your time quite a
Мне
lot.
сайберпанковское кресло, нихуя себе.
Basically, our game
Блин, оно
is
желтенькое, я тоже
depending on
хочу.
your life path. As an example, if you choose the Street Kid life path, you have lived most of your time in Night City. You know the streets, you know the gangs, you know the slang, you kind of know what's going on in the, let's say, lower life aspects of the city, which can, of course, give you lots of good opportunities also later on in the game. But if you start as a nomad, you actually used to be part of a nomad clan and a nomad family, because nomads that roam the deserts around Night City, that we call the Badlands, actually value their family above anything.
Вот,
But
не за
for one
nomada,
reason or
да.
another, you actually left that family behind, and now the beginning of the game for you will actually be how to get into Night City and how to make a new life there. Then you can also choose to actually be a corpo, or choose the corporate life path. And that basically means that you're not at home in the streets of Night City or in the deserts of the Badlands, but actually inside the boardroom, because you wrote the corporate letter of the Arasaka Corporation, which basically gives you the ability to sometimes, read between the lines, read people when they're trying to do business, which of course can give you many nice opportunities later on.
So this isn't just about the start of the game. Can you maybe help people understand how this translates into the gameplay?
Yeah, so the thing is, we make Cyberpunk a real RPG, and part of that is that you can play your character from the start to the end. And of course, we have these life paths affecting the beginning of the game, but we wanted to make it so you have your life path opportunities throughout the whole game until the game is over. And as an example, we do that by giving you additional options and dialogues. So I can give you one specific example, and this is a mission where you have to steal a Flathead robot from the Maelstrom gang. Basically, those Maelstormers stole that Flathead before from a corporate transport, and the owner of that corporate transport, Meredith Stout, wants you to do something else. And this is an optional objective. And even within that objective, we want to give you some options. So as an example, if you have a corporate life path, you basically know what Meredith Stout is really about. You can read between the lines, and you can get some additional options that maybe actually later enable you to do a completely different thing with the Maelstrom gang. And if you're a nomad, you know exactly some more details about how these Maelstromers would have even been able to
О, ну
steal
это
a robot like
интересно.
that from Meredith Stout.
Надеюсь,
Part of
это
the
так и
very
будет
powerful
работать,
technical
без
As a
всяких
Street
там
Kid, we as an
поковырок.
example don't give you a specific new dialogue option in that dialogue, because as a Street Kid, you do not have a lot of experience dealing with higher up people like Meredith Stout. But we want to give you additional options that fit your life path very well. So later when you actually talk to the Maelstrom gang, one member of the gang offers you some illegal substance, but as a Street Kid, you actually know what this is about. You can talk some shop with him, and that might actually make that character like you a little bit more.
So Philip, I do have a couple of extra questions for you based on the video we just saw. And the first is about nomads. So the Nomad life path, this starts in a place called the Badlands. Is this somewhere you get to visit even if you don't pick Nomad to start with?
Yes, absolutely. So the thing is, Night City is surrounded by this huge landscape that we call the Badlands, and you can go there whenever you want. So as an example, if you actually do play the Nomad life path at the start and you are in the Badlands, you can even see Night City.
Гружаются текстурки на ходу.
We want to give you the
Классик.
option later
На
in the game,
консоль
if you want,
снимали.
you can just take your car and drive out of the city.
Да-да-да, вон они
whenever you
кусты
want.
подгружаются.
The thing is, you might not want to, because the Badlands can be a pretty dangerous place at first, because time has not been very kind to the Badlands.
Блин, жаль, что Cyberpunk выходит вот сейчас, в этом поколении, а не в следующем. Чтобы они сразу разрабатывали игру на 12-м Директе, на новом железе вообще, на 64-битной системе.
Throughout the cyberpunk genre, which means that you will also find missions that lead you out in the Badlands or where you deal with the people living there.
So Philip, can you tell us a little bit more about the character Padre?
This
He's
is
the one who's
the-
giving his business card to Street Kid V in the video. Who is this man?
Yeah, so Padre is actually one of the fixers in Night City. And fixers are people that work as
Fixer.
intermediaries. So if someone who has a lot of money needs a problem solved, they go to a fixer. And a fixer then finds people who can solve that problem. And these people are people like you, the cyberpunks. Fixers are very territorial. So Padre specifically works from Haywood, which is where you as a street kid grew up in, so you already know him. You might have already seen another one of our fixers who is called Dexter Deshawn, and he works in a different part of the city. So specifically Padre, you might know him as a street kid, but even if you played other life paths, you might sooner or later meet him because he's operating in Haywood, which is a pretty big place with many good jobs. So if you want to make some cash there, you will sooner or later deal with Padre.
Philip, thank you so much for joining us. Now, on my first playthrough, pretty sure I'm going to be picking Nomad, but for those watching, we would
Я тоже за Номада хочу играть. Блядь, да сейчас все будут... Сука, сейчас все выберут Номада.
We're going to be showing you another new gameplay video and having a chat to Pavel, our senior gameplay designer, about just some of the tools of destruction that will be at your disposal in Night City. But before that, let's talk about music. Because music plays a huge part in bringing Night City to life. Now, in future episodes, we're going to talk about things like radio stations and even the original score. But today, we're going to take a look behind the scenes at how Refused to bringing Johnny Silverhand's band Samurai to life.
Ой, подожди.
I wouldn't write these lyrics.
Давай вот так тогда. Музыку мы без скорости.
So it's kind of interesting to get into like the mindset of who is this character and what would they write about, or what's their agenda. It's interesting to try to like catch a language that's his and try to catch a language that's like part of this game.
Ага.
There's a reason why we're here.
О, Швеция. А что они тут делают, погоди?
It was Piotr maybe who was a fan of the band.
Piotr?
He knew Refused and he knew my voice and he said, oh, that's a perfect voice for Johnny.
And that they wanted, I guess, a sound that was a bit contemporary from when Johnny's supposed to have had the band, because he's sort of like an anti-establishment kind of guy.
Gonna drag a corporal rat on stage, make him kneel, douse him with gas, then light him up.
So of course there are things that you can relate to, and like just like this outcast and this rebel that's fighting against like the corporals, and that's definitely something that's been a part of my life and a part of Refused life.
We came out of the punk rock scene of northern Sweden.
He's like the future version of us, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense. I think it totally makes sense for us to be here making these songs about him or for him, you know? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No trills. But yeah, but like wide vibrato.
And then, I mean,
Ебать.
I mean,
Yeah.
slowly builds their intensity.
We don't have a different mode than just going all in. So we really worked on these songs, trying to make them as good as possible. But then they're not actually our songs.
It's interesting as a musician to play another musician, because that's essentially what we're doing. I mean, we're not here as Refused, we're here as Samurai. And I'm here as Johnny Silverhand, you know? So it's like the voice we're representing here is someone else.
It's been a mind fuck.
Забанят за музыку, ну не баньте уши побыстрей, давайте что-нибудь вы говорите. Не баньте.
Just like second nature to me, because I've been doing this for a very long time. But then
У него такие портаки на шее, ля. Или просто Он лет 40, наверное, назад так сделали, они уже стерлись.
second nature to me.
Смотри. Ля. Выцвели уже. Ой. Ебать.
I've been doing this for a very long time. But then when someone comes in and says,
I'm happy with everything except for Azalin. Again, it's Azza. Azza. Okay.
the shouting's great, but think of that accent, or think of that like enunciation. It's a bit weird because it's a very different way of singing when you
Проблема сказать аса,
hard to sort
а
of
не аза.
Swallowing some
Асалин,
syllables there.
а не азалин.
adjust your accent.
Oh yeah, just try it again.
So it's been a bit kind of frustrating.
It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, we have to maintain the illusion that this character that's a character of the game also is me.
Ой, какие неестественные движения у него.
Makes sense.
Что за
But
хуйня?
It's a bit different to have someone telling you exactly how to enunciate things, because I'm not used to. Usually people just like give me a thumbs up and then like you know.
Я думаю, шведов второй язык английский.
Rhythm and you think about the pitch and you think about all these things, but then someone comes in and like that word sounded weird. I'm like, what? No, that's how I sing. But so it's been a very a bit painful at times, but it's all right.
See this zone, I'm chipping in. Roll the bones, I'm chipping in. Belt that cone, I'm chipping in. Mayhem flows.
It's a very interesting thing to be part of. As a person that's not a gamer, I don't think I fully understand the impact that this might have. If people like these songs and if people are excited, then that's going to be great. I mean, we are spending a lot of times trying to get this right, trying to get it to sound like, you know, like Samurai would sound, you know. So it's quite interesting. It's a very different way of making music, actually.
Охуенно.
You can already find 3 Samurai tracks available on streaming services: Chippin' In, Never Fade Away, and The Ballad of Buck Ravers. But we're excited to announce a 4th new song called A Like Supreme, which is coming to streaming services today. That means you can check it out once the show is over. Don't forget that if you're tuning in late, or if you just want to watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channel soon. Next up, Pablo and I are going to introduce you to some creative ways that you can solve problems.
А геймплей покажут?
AV, I have a job for you. A client of mine is making an arms deal. He needs protection. It could get hot, very hot. The gun dealers are Maelstrom. Alas, nothing ever transpires as
Бля,
planned.
как? Я не графодрочер, но картинки явно не хватает. Ambient occlusion. Как по-русски это называется? Теневого затенения, блять, объемного затемнения. То есть теней не хватает на объектах. Очень сильно. То есть вот здесь вот эта хуйня. Это, блядь, вообще RTX, по-моему. Отражается ящик. Вот здесь вот, блядь, где тени. Даже свет даже не падает. Ну ладно, это моя дизайнерская, блядь, мой взгляд.
You better gear up for this.
Да, это RTX, походу. Угу. Вот, дробыльки, это моя тема, блядь, двустволочки, это по мне. Ага. Где расчлененка? Она же была вроде. Ага, вау. Бля, вот я не верю, что... Да, это все хуйня 4К. Я не верю, что они настолько оптимизируют свою игру, чтобы с такой графикой выходить на стабильные 60 FPS на 1050. Мы знаем, блядь, Red Dead Redemption 2. Да и Ведьмака тоже.
Can you tell us the different types of guns that will be in the game?
So we have three distinct types of guns in our game. We have power weapons, we have tech weapons, and we have smart weapons. Now, power weapons are the most similar to contemporary weapons. One thing they can do, which normal weapons cannot, is ricochet bullets off of surfaces. So you can hit somebody hiding behind cover or hiding behind a wall. Now, tech weapons, on the other hand, use electromagnetic power to propel a fully metal projectile to extreme velocities. What that allows them to do is to punch through cover or punch through walls to hit somebody who's not even aware that you're there. Smart weapons use guided missile technology to actually track targets in real time. You can hit somebody who's dodging, running away from you, or you can hit somebody who's hiding behind cover.
So Pavel, Cyberpunk doesn't just contain FPS elements, right? It's also a fully fledged RPG. So can you tell us how you guys approached introducing those RPG elements into gunplay?
So I can tell you one thing, Holly, it wasn't easy to merge those two elements together. Now, we've spent a considerable amount of time merging the RPG and FPP side of our game. What the player will experience is that...
Они сперва говорили, что это в первую очередь RPG, типа потом это, ну, Immersive Sim RPG, потом это уже шутер. Теперь они везде настаивают, что это шутан, и во вторую очередь это RPG. Они даже в Твиттере и везде поменяли местами слова. Что в первую очередь это шутер, не забывайте. Я такой, чего? Ну, я имею в виду, что не они говорили, они наоборот настаивают, что это в первую очередь как раз RPG. Но пока что я вижу, что это именно шутер. Я ничего ролевого такого не увидел. Пока что они только болтали об этом.
You can, of course, buy weapons at vendor shops, and they will house an entire catalog of weaponry that you can get. However, the best weapons that you can find will be taken from enemies or loot caches that we have everywhere in Night City. The weapons rarities range from common to uncommon up to rare and then legendary. And as they go in rarity, they actually climb in power.
Вот это мне не нравится, если честно.
Weapons are very specific in such a way that they possess
Бля, да серьезно?
that you will find on no other weapons in the game.
Легендарное, блядь, оружие? Почему нельзя сделать просто обычные стволы и самому их апгрейдить? Там находить какие-нибудь редкие предметы. Ну не называть их легендарными, редкими, блядь. Рарными там.
One of them would be modifications that we call attachments. So these would be scopes and silencers, and you can see them actually being attached to your weapon as you're playing the game. They give you statistics advantage, and they give you more opportunities in gameplay. The other part of mods would be software mods. Now these are basically small chips that you install in your weapon, and they actually change the statistics of the gun. They can give you damage, they can give you accuracy, or they can give you more fire rate. Some of those mods actually change the gunplay on a more fundamental level.
Интересно так
They can
играть,
give
если
you
честно.
non-lethal rounds, biochemical rounds to tear through that armor even
Для меня,
faster.
естественно.
So I suppose for my final question, why don't you tell us about your favorite weapon then? Which is your favorite weapon so far in Night City?
Oh, there are so many weapons that it's hard to choose just one, but I can mention some manufacturers with their weapons that I absolutely adore. The first manufacturer would be Tsunami Defense Systems, who produces the sniper rifle Nekomata. That's a tech sniper rifle. That means that it can pierce through walls, so you can actually hit somebody who's hiding behind cover or who doesn't even know you're there. Of course, I also like a close quarters approach, and what that needs is a shotgun. One of the shotguns that we have in the game is Budget Arms Carnage. Now, that thing is cast from pure steel. And
Вот это хорошо.
however, you can cut a person clean in half with it. Another shotgun that I absolutely love, it's for a more refined approach, I would say, is a smart shotgun, Kang Tao Zhuo.
Почему от дробовика
8 barrels, and that means it can track 8
отлетают?
targets independently. Now, killing an entire room was never simpler.
Отлетают так тела. В жизни это немного не так работает.
Interested to see what kind of weapons people discover when they play Cyberpunk for themselves. Before we end episode 2, this is a reminder that those who wish to dive deeper into the lore can now pick up the world of
Когда она выходит в сентябре? Или в ноябре? Когда-то перенесли ее опять, да? Подожди, чего? Комиксы Dark Horse? Книга. А, это артбук.
Collaboration with Dark Horse Books that will give you an extensive look at what makes Night City tick before jumping into the game this November.
Ноябрь, блядь.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Сентябрь, октябрь, не ноябрь. То есть... А ты же в сентябре выходил. Чего?
Just want to watch again. We will be uploading everything to our channel shortly.
Так.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be
Это
back
еще не
with
всё.
Night City Wire episode 3 soon.
По-моему, у них есть что-то еще из видосов по Сайберпанку. Что-то у них еще было. Еще 3 видоса, да? Ну это то, что мы смотрели. Это тоже только что было. Да. Да ладно, вы просто перезалили, блядь. Ну ёб твою мать. Окей, тогда я проверю сейчас вот здесь. Сейчас я закрою. Так. Блять, а можно мне, пожалуйста, закрыть эту хуйню? Спасибо. Сейчас я хочу посмотреть. По-моему, что-то было еще. Так, сегодня какой день недели? Уже вторник. Значит, вот здесь вот. Что было? Да-да-да. Ага. Life Path, это который мы смотрели сейчас. Wait. Really? А нет нового видоса. Лол, прикинь, нет никакого нового видоса. Ёб твою мать. А я... Все. Все, блядь. 30 минут. Ну, alright. Типа... Ну, ладно. Анонсировали новый Call of Duty. Black Ops Cold War. Нет, не анонсировали еще. Надеюсь, это реально про Cold War, ну, про холодную войну будет. Секунду. Что? Так, блядь. Вы Call в России? Вы приедете? Опять? Короче, нахуй Call of Duty. Пойдем смотреть YouTube.